So Jason, Foxconn, the first hearing is today, later on this afternoon. How is this process expected to play out in Madison?
Well, we're looking to see that. I think what the bottom line is, Republicans are expected to pass this up to $3 billion state subsidy bill for the company very quickly, in the coming days. There is still some debate about, do they do the state budget first? Do they do the Foxconn bill first? And that hasn't been totally decided.
Well, didn't the Senate Majority Leader say the other day that he was sort of hoping they could do the budget first?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a power play there. The state Senate Republicans want to get a budget passed that's more along the lines of Governor Walker and his proposal. Assembly Republicans want a little different. They want some differences with Walker on transportation. And obviously, this Foxconn plant could end up in the district of the Assembly Speaker, Robin Vos. So the Senate Majority Leader, Scott Fitzgerald, is sort of using this Foxconn bill as a bit of leverage to try and push Vos to pass the budget.
And now it's also possible that the Foxconn bill might sort of change how transportation monies are doled out, right?
Sure, yes. A big thing that's in the Foxconn bill is $252 million in state borrowing to do work on the I-94 segment south of Milwaukee, heading down toward Chicago. That obviously runs through Kenosha and Racine counties, which are seen as the likely locations for this flat screen television plant that Foxconn has committed to. And then as well, obviously, when you're talking about the level of subsidies that Foxconn is requesting, that could have some impact on the state budget as well, although it's mostly going to be in future budgets.
Is there any sense yet where that money would come from, as you reported with your colleague Patrick Marley the other day, because there really aren't any taxes imposed on a manufacturer anyway?
Right.
These tax credits would amount to a check written every year to Foxconn. So where would that money come from in the budget?
Right. I mean, these subsidies are referred to as tax credits, but it's important to understand that Foxconn is a company like any other manufacturer in Wisconsin. They would have no or virtually no corporate income taxes or income taxes that they'd be paying. So these credits that they would accumulate would end up getting paid to them in the form of cash. And, this would come out of the state's main account. And, it's an account that's used to pay for things like health care for the needy, aid to schools and local governments. So obviously, when you're talking about $200 million a year, to put that in perspective, that is maybe 20% of what state government would pay to the University of Wisconsin system over that period. So it's a very significant outlay of cash that's being planned.
So just to be clear, would this have any impact on the current budget that's being discussed in Madison?
It's possible. It would not be a huge impact in the current budget that ends in June 2019. And I should say as well that to receive these payments, Foxconn would need to show that they had actually went out and done things. So they would need to show that they'd paid out money for the plant or equipment, that they'd paid out money in payroll to workers. So that, this would be a pay upon performance, pay on delivery type model. This would not be a situation where, the state government at least would be paying money up front. Now, the local government subsidies that we have yet to see, those would be in a little different situation.
Right. So what are you hearing around the Capitol from Republicans who represent districts, let's say, outside of either Madison, Milwaukee, or southeastern Wisconsin?
Oh, I think, there's been, from Republicans anyway, very little criticism of this deal, very positive on it. I will say in some cases, some of the comments have maybe betrayed a lack of a complete understanding of the package. You hear people talking about, well, all we're doing is foregoing taxes we wouldn't have gotten anyway. I'm not sure everyone has realized that these would involve cash payments. But, in general, very positive toward the deal, and people feeling like, how could we say no to thousands of potential new jobs?
And Jason, one final question. Is this likely today to be the only public hearing before the bill goes to the legislature?
You know, I guess I would be surprised if there is not a hearing of some kind in the Senate. This is not a joint hearing today. It's only a hearing of the Assembly Jobs Committee. This bill probably will in some form go to the Joint Finance Committee, which could possibly have a hearing of its own. You know, that being said, I would expect for this to be passed within, a couple weeks. So this may not be the only opportunity for the public to weigh in, but certainly there's not a long period of time for that. If you have something you want to say about this bill, you probably should say it quickly.